Alright, well, we got all the lights up in the shop. It's the wiring is temporary, but the lights are mounted, and we have 10 of them in here. It's hard to see with the door open, but there's one over the door. I put it real close to the wall, so when I have a hood open on a car, it puts light in there. I did the same thing back here, put it where it would shine into engine compartment. I have 2 in the center, kind of on either side of something that would be parked here, and then I have the 4 in the corners. And it's pretty well lit in here. It's nice, as you can see. And what you can also see is there's the latest project, sort of. I don't know if this is the next project or not, but it's a deal I didn't want to pass up. V8 4-speed, which is 3-speed with a granny gear. And for those of you younger viewers out there, or metric people, that means first gear is just for hauling and towing. You'll only do maybe 5 or 10 miles an hour in first gear. Got some dual exhaust on it. So there it is. Interior's pretty clean. Matter of fact, I should roll up this window before we hit the freeway. So it's not terrible. Dash is pretty good. Gauges all look good. Sorry, forgot for a second how to handle the Chrysler steering column. Alright, this is all locked up. It's in gear. E-brake is on. So yeah, we'll do more when I get it back to the house, because it's like 100 out here and I'm done. Hey, it closes. Alright, here we go. Alright, that is the sound of a battery working. Got the e-brake on. Let's put that thing in neutral and see what it does. Okay. So I hear the starter, the Bendix or whatever it's called. I hear that engaging, but it's not spinning over. So let's test the battery real quick. All right, so I got the terminals removed. Jeez, I can't even talk. I've got the cables removed. Got my tester hooked up, and it's showing good. Now what we need to do, we're looking at the bottom here where it says 12 volts. We're looking to see if this line comes over into the yellow or the red, the mustard or the ketchup, as they say up north. So let's see. We're going to count to 10, and I guess we don't have to. It's not dropping. So that still shows good. Yeah, it's close enough. It's already smelling it. All right, next. All right, so on initial inspection, the oil comes out clean. If I pull this cap off and look through the hole, there's a little bit of condensation in there, and that looks like gray or white grease, basically. There's none showing on the bottom of the cap, but if you look in there, you see that white goop in there. So that's not promising, but that usually indicates like a head gasket issue. But if the truck's legitimately been sitting for a year in the grass, it's entirely possible that there's some condensation that got in there, and that's all that is. So we're gonna hope for the best and hope that's condensation. But for now, let's do the old test the starter trick. All right, so the test the starter trick is hit the starter with a hammer a few times and then see if it turns over. I don't know if I can film this at the same time, but we're gonna try. This is not easy. Alright, so we gave the starter a few whacks. Let's see if it made a difference. Nope. And the next thing I want to check is to see if the motor turns over. Alright, well, that's going to make it a little harder. Alright, so make a long story short, look, I already tested it and it's too hard to do with one hand. The motor is not frozen, it turns over easily. Alright, so we had to get rid of a couple of friends here. Yeah, they had to go. Alright, so we turned the motor over by hand and I whacked the starter a couple more times. I'm just hoping I get lucky. And it may be turning the motor over, put the ring gear in a different spot, and it might actually catch and go. I'd really think we have a bad starter from the sound of it. Yeah. Alright, before I assume it's a bad starter and spend the money, I am going to check all the wiring. Alright, so I bypassed the wiring, went directly to the starter with power directly from the battery, checked it, it had 12 volts going to it, and it wasn't exactly 12, but anyway, it had power going to it, enough to turn the starter over. And I noticed I started beating on it with a hammer again just to see if I could get it working, and there was a ton of corrosion falling out of the weep hole on the bottom of the starter, so probably a safe bet that starter's frozen. So I'm going to get that thing off of there and maybe see if I can get it working on the bench before I go out and buy another one. I just want to make sure that's the problem. Got the starter out of the truck. Now I got it hooked up to battery charger. What I'm going to do is see if it works without a load on it in the truck. Just going to kind of hold it here. What I've got is I got the positive hooked up to the battery cable lead. I got the negative just hooked up to the body for ground. I've got this starter button put in here just so instead of arcing it with a screwdriver across the two terminals, I can just hit the button. The light on there means it's making a connection and it's ready to rock and roll. I've got it on 2 amps. Nothing. As you can see, it's trying. So let's kick it on up to 10 amps. Still nothing. Let's go full tilt, 55 amp starting power. Absolutely nothing. Alright, so we know this thing's dead. Let me unplug the charger. Now I got to take this thing apart and see what's going on with it. If it's just stuck from sitting and it's just got a little corrosion, we can break it free and clean it up. Then there's no reason to replace it. Now I've never opened one of these, but I'm thinking if we pop this cap off, that's a good place to start before we get too crazy about it. So yeah, let's take that off and see what we're left with. This weep hole here, which I think the screw goes through actually, yeah, it does. That's for moisture to get out of, and there was a ton of corrosion pouring out of it when I was wailing on it with a hammer. So I think we're going to get in here. We're going to find it's all rusted out in here. But before I go buying a new starter for 50, 60, 70 bucks or whatever it is, might as well have a look at it. Oh yeah, it definitely got some moisture in it. Let's do this. Well, that wants to fall out pretty easily. And of course I screwed it up because I pulled it out and the magnets popped loose. See, that's what doing something without thinking about it first gets you. How does this thing come apart next? Alright, let me think about this for a minute because I gotta access memories that are 20 years old or more. This could take a while. You would think with the internet and manuals and everything else I'd just be looking this up, but what fun would that be? So this is a video where you get to see me totally screw things up. But I really don't care because like I said, this is a $7 core on this thing, and I think it's got a better value being in entertainment, if you will, and education than it does as a core. So I'm just going to destroy this thing and then I'll buy a starter without a core. There we go. Yeah, I don't see anything bad going on here. I'm not sure why exactly that wasn't turning. So I do think it's this part at this point. Oh, there's our problem. Look at that. That corrosion in there. So this is not a how-to, by the way. This is just to watch me be an idiot. But hopefully this will work. Yeah. Okay, we're good. Alright, what's holding you all together? I like this. I've never taken a starter apart, so this is a lot of fun for me. So, I think these were named after the Roman god of, or would it be the Greek god of vision, Spectacles. People who know how to rebuild these things are probably screaming at the screen right now. I apologize, I just enjoy learning by doing it myself rather than being shown, and you end up destroying stuff when you do that. Which is exactly what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I clearly don't know what I'm doing here. If it takes too much longer, I might even go watch a YouTube video on the correct way to do this. If you just stare at it long enough, I'm hoping it'll fix itself. Let's see. This wire here. Wow, okay. fell out all on its own. Yeah, look at that thing. That is absolutely freaking destroyed. It's freaking hammered, man. Oh yeah, that's awful in there. It's all corroded like crazy. So yeah, new starter time. Let's just look at this housing again. Yeah, if you can look in there, you can see it was just completely corroded where this solenoid is. I think that's called the solenoid or the Bendix, or I don't know. I don't know this stuff. I'm not going to lie about it. We'll get the starter changed and we'll see if the truck actually fires up with a new starter. At least we'll get it to turn over and check for oil pressure, and we'll go from there. All right. I guess I'm going to spend the holiday weekend with my wife. That's what I'd rather be doing anyway, to be honest with you. Anyway, see you. Got the new starter in, put it in, engine turned over fine. I didn't film that. It was raining outside at the time, so I didn't want to get the camera wet, or, I mean, I know I could have put an umbrella over it or something, but I didn't film it. I wanted to just get it done and get the thing off the trailer. So put a new starter in, it turned over fine, started building oil pressure, but still wouldn't fire. Started looking around in the engine compartment, and the fuel filter they had on there wasn't filling with gasoline. It was bone dry, and it wasn't filling up. So once I dug into it a little bit and started looking at it, they had a 1/4-inch filter on there in a what's supposed to be a 5/16 line, which had nothing to do with it. It was the pump. I had to put a fuel pump on it. So we got a new fuel pump in there, and while I was in there, because of this was being, you know, way too small, it was being way too small? It was way too small. What I did was I went ahead and replaced the rubber lines there. The feed line on these trucks is a 3/8, so put a piece of 3/8 hose to the new pump, new clamps all the way around, and I grabbed a 5/16 filter because the supply side to the carburetor, or not the supply side, but the feed side to the carburetor is a 5/16 line. It's that metal line right there. So we got that all hooked up and started cranking it over, and that filled with gas immediately. So that problem was solved. And right after that, it fired. So check it out. Nice. Give it a little gas because it's got a carbon maker and not fuel injection. But look, it runs! Alright, so I just cold started this thing. It's been sitting for 3 or 4 days at this point. It's Wednesday. Since Saturday, so it runs. This is exactly how it ran when I started it the other day when I finally got it running. Again, I decided I didn't film it, but it was raining, and I just wanted to get it done inside. Alright, so anyway, I think that's where we're at with this truck. As I fix things on this truck, I'll go ahead and post them for you guys. I do appreciate you guys watching. If you are new to the channel, you probably don't realize I have Nissan hardbody and Chevy S10 content on here as well. Go ahead and check my playlists on my channel, and I've got them all separated into playlists to make it easy for you. I guess that's our video for today, so thanks a bunch for watching. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Preferably subscribe. That really helps a small channel like mine get up and running. Thanks a bunch. I appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves.